Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Hector from InsertName FC here from BellyUpSports. Um, the clip that you guys are gonna see is from our episode 162. If you guys want to see the full episode, go ahead and check us out on YouTube. Also, anywhere that you get podcasting from, so you can see the full episode. It was a really enjoyable episode. It was without Edward, unfortunately, but still a really good show, and I can't wait to get Edward back in full strength. But the clip that you're going to go see is one of the big stories. Obviously, the big story here in the U.S. has been Lionel Messi joining Inter Miami, and something that most soccer teams do, professional soccer teams do. They do these preseason tours where they'll go off of where their home base is at, and play some preseason matches with some of the local teams over there. I mean, it's something that the Houston Dynamo was currently doing that just now. I think they just came back from Mexico. They did their preseason in Mexico, I believe. FC Dallas went to Spain. I think that's what Jose was telling me. And Inter Miami, they did this very interesting tour, which started them going to multiple places. And there's an uproar. There is an uproar about it. So the clip that you're gonna see is my perspective and Jose Tejas of GolzTV. We're gonna go ahead and share our thoughts on the entire Inter Miami tour. Was it bad? Was it good? Things of that nature. Because honestly, we've been hearing a lot of criticism, and to be honest, it's not warranted in my opinion. But so enjoy the clip. Hopefully, if you guys like what you saw from that clip, go ahead and check us out on YouTube or anywhere you get your podcast. InsertName FC, new episodes every Friday. So thank you so much and enjoy the clip.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at BellyUpSports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
We're going to finally talk about this world tour, because that's exactly what it was for Inter Miami. I'm going to start it with this. To all the people that were criticizing Inter Miami for even attempting this world tour, which I'll definitely tell you how I feel about the end product of it, but like, you're gonna hate on Inter Miami for doing this, but then not be phased when we have the Spanish Super Cup in Saudi Arabia. Like, I mean, the big clubs do this too. Like, no, like, they don't have to come to the US. They don't have to do the US tours. Like, they could just be in Spain and have like a preseason match with, like Real Madrid could play Castilla before they start their season. And I mean, you can even look at the MLS teams. Like, not many MLS teams leave, their home base for their preseason. They'll either play like a local university or a USL team.
Yep.
I mean, Houston Dynamo were in Mexico, playing against Chivas, and I believe Tecos was another team. But they're, in Mexico, obviously, because Achache. But I'm just saying, like, preseason tours are done for a reason. And I mean, yes, it's because of money. It's 100% because of money. You have Lionel Messi. Like, that's the whole reason why they did the world tour. So I'm not gonna be over here saying that what Inter Miami did was wrong, because they're doing exactly what any other top class league club would do. If Manchester United did this, no one would bat an eye. But because Inter Miami was doing this, now it's, oh my God, they're evil. All they care about is money. That's all everybody cares about is money. That's all everybody cares.
Look, and before you get to the results individually, I'll say that, just to piggyback on what you said, bro, I agree wholeheartedly. It's like, for those who are complaining, I've seen so many videos about this. For those who are complaining, just say you don't understand how businesses work. Just say it. Like, you don't get it. And that's totally okay. You don't understand. But think about all the money Major League Soccer and Apple TV are pouring into just bringing Messi to the States, right? If you're going to do that, if you're going to invest that much into that type of move, I am led to believe as a fan and as someone who just understands that side of the business that you're going to make and create every opportunity to recoup as much of that investment as you possibly can, right? And how do you do that? Well, there's the Messi tour here in the States during the regular season, right? You're going to charge as much as possible per game to every away match that he goes to, and your home matches included. But on top of that, for the same reason that Hector just kind of stated with Premier League teams coming overseas here to the States in the summer to do their preseasons, it's a branding play. Apple TV shows these Major League Soccer matches to anyone in the world who has Apple TV, right? Anybody who's got an iPhone gets notification on their phone saying that there's a game on right now for you to tune into. How great would it be if when they get that notification, they know who the hell those teams are, right? They know who it is, and therefore they're a little bit incentivized to actually watch, and that's what grows the visibility of the league. It is no different than any other preseason tour in the history of time. It's a branding play, it's a revenue play, but more importantly, it's so that when Messi leaves, right, when he leaves MLS in 2 years, 3 years, whatever it's going to be, there needs to be something that we gain from all of this, that we gain from all of the money that was spent and all the time that was spent to bring him and, you know, his friends, right, 2015 Barcelona to Inter Miami and to Major League Soccer. So let's just stop complaining, because all it looks like is that you don't understand how the business side of soccer works. It's not evil. It's not any other kind of negative term. It's just businesses protecting their business. That's what these guys do. And they need to make money. They need to find a way to grow the profile of the league. This is probably the only way to do it realistically in a preseason. So anyway, just want to get that off my chest.
No, you're right. But then there's also other benefits to the preseason, which obviously if you're doing your preseason in your home base, like let's say FC Dallas, I don't know if they necessarily win anywhere for their preseason, but say they stayed in Dallas. So what, they go play against UNT or whatever local men's soccer college soccer team is there, maybe play a game against, I think Oklahoma has a soccer team too.
Yeah, the Oklahoma City Energy. Yeah, and they also have North Texas SC as our next pro team that we could probably play against too. Like we've done that, you know.
So like the thing is, one, obviously get them in shape. You're not playing a whole game. You're maybe playing like one half, maybe. And so you're not in the, so it's one, get yourself back in game shape, because that's a big difference. And then two, I think what the aspect of traveling somewhere else is, you're building camaraderie. You're gonna get new faces on your team. And I think when you have new faces and you're doing your preseason in your home base, what are players doing after training? What are they doing after games? They're going back home. Like maybe some of them are hanging out with their teammates depending on what their situation is, but most of the time, what the beauty of that preseason tour is, you're staying in the hotel rooms, you're doing team extras, team events, team activities, so you're building a camaraderie, building a locker room there.
Yep.
Maybe because some could argue that was probably a good reason for some of the success the Dynamo had last year, was because they went to Mexico and they were building a cohesion together. So there's a lot of perks also to the preseason tour. You're adding Luis Suarez, you're adding new players that were going into Inter Miami. So why not have them build some cohesion by doing this world tour as well?
Yeah, I agree. And the last point I'll make to this tour is that the other argument that a lot of fans had, I think, on the timeline was that it's not a good look for MLS if we go to some of these other teams and lose, right? Well, by that logic, right? What happens when a European team comes here in the summer and gets beat by MLS All-Stars or someone else? How does it look for them? Nobody cares, because they realistically understand it's preseason. Nobody cares. The only ones that care in terms of these Inter Miami results, right? They haven't been that great, you know, and there's a couple of them that really haven't been that great, but it's realistic expectations. We understand as fans, at least the knowledgeable ones know, right? The ones that aren't overreactionary know that this is preseason. They're getting their legs under them, and they're coming up against sides who are in the middle of their season. They are in form. They've been playing competitive matches for months now. Why would we? In what world could you realistically come to the conclusion that, based on what I just said, that we should be taking these results for face value? It doesn't make sense, man. Like, let's please be realistic and understand that this is kind of what's necessary. And like Hector already mentioned, there are teams all over the league that are doing this. With my team specifically in Dallas, they went to Spain. They went to Spain for 2 of their preseason games, right? And they're coming back and doing one against DC United here at home this coming Saturday. That's pretty much it. Everyone, I saw a ton of teams that were traveling abroad to do some team building, but to get some reps against better competition while they're in their season to get our legs under us before the season opener. So I'm all about it, man. I love that MLS is doing this. I'm kind of glad that we're moving past the days where we would just play against our local university or our local USL side. Nothing wrong with that. I love some of those local tests, but to me, it actually raises the profile of the league, makes it more visible. I think 2024 is going to be a banger season.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So obviously the tour, this month-long tour, which will be concluded on Thursday. In the span of the month, they had 7 friendlies. I'm also gonna take this time to once again defend El Salvador because a lot of people kept bashing as to why they would go to El Salvador of all places. Bukele,
Yeah.
which congrats on his second term. 5 more years of that man, but he's cleaned up the country, and I mean, why not showcase how far El Salvador has gone than hosting an icon like Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez and all of them. Also, it was really just awesome for me to see Mágico Gonzalez dap up with Lionel Messi and Messi actually knowing who he was. So that was
Hell
to me
yeah.
that to me was a win, and it was funny because when I saw that I was like, there is so much cocaine in that picture, and that's only from one man. So I love you,
Yeah,
Mágico.
man.
I love you, Mágico. Never change.
No, it was cool, man. I didn't really catch. I think I caught a little bit part of that game. I think a lot of fans were confused as to why they were playing El Salvador, but it was just cool to see an MLS side up against a national team.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. It was a 0-0 draw, which I mean, obviously, the first preseason game, they look slow. Also, Messi experienced CONCACAF, so it was bound to happen.
Got CONCACAF.
So he got
Hell
CONCACAF
yeah,
like there was no
definitely was.
tomorrow. He was getting triple
Agreed,
teamed.
bro. Agreed. Yeah,
Bold move for El Salvador.
I'm telling you, you can't go down. Everyone thinks it's so easy, right? And that's why I think and then again, I'm not gonna go off on a tangent, but it's not, bro. It's so easy to get CONCACAF by some of these countries when you go down there in those environments and try to pull out a win. It's not as easy as it looks. It's really not.
Yeah. And then they come back to the US, but they go to Dallas, Texas in the Cotton Bowl to take on FC Dallas, which was a 1-0 victory for your boys.
Yep.
A lot of academy players, I believe, was also featured in the. I mean, it's preseason, so you're gonna see a lot of players being played in these games. But so it was
Yeah.
pretty cool. Some people were complaining that it wasn't necessarily packed, but I mean, it was also like in the middle of the week. And we're also
At
talking about
5 p.m. Is
we're
the
also talking
middle of the
Dallas,
week,
Texas.
5 p.m. It is Dallas, but I think it's important. Like, context is super important. So it's a 90, almost 100,000 seater stadium. It's in the middle of the week on a Monday at 5 p.m., right? So not 7, but 5 p.m. Which means that if you're at work and you leave work at 5, you're getting there by maybe halftime with traffic and all of that. So there's that. And then it was raining. It was like 35, 40 degrees. It was cold. There's no cover at the Cotton Bowl. And even with that, I think it still turned out like 30K plus. Which I was seeing fans on the timeline, like Austin FC fans, for example, like, oh man, you guys should have came to the Q2 even on a Monday at 5. We would have packed that thing out. I was like, bro, you could have packed that thing out, and you still wouldn't have had as many people as what we had at the Cotton Bowl, right? The
Mm,
what is it, 19, 20K at the Q2? Like, it's
mm-hmm.
like, brother, you want to host the GOAT, you got to get a bigger stadium. Like, that's how that shit works. Like, I don't know, man. It's a lot of complaining about it, but at the end of the day, it's still a pretty decent turnout considering all of the context that I just mentioned. But it was great to see Ferreira score on Inter Miami, bro. That was the Pirate of the Caribbean himself did it in the first 5 minutes. It was first shot of the game. It was awesome.
Yeah. So, and once again, it's preseason. Um, then they go to Saudi Arabia, take on Al Hilal, which is honestly one of the top teams.
Yeah.
Also, if you look at that roster, you're just like, good God. Um,
It could have been Neymar, bro. It could have been Neymar.
could have been Neymar. I think that was the plan initially. Obviously,
Yeah, before he got hurt.
yeah. So Al Hilal, they end up losing to them 4-3. Um, it could have been a lot worse. I will say that. Once again, this is also one of the better teams in Saudi Arabia. Um, and I mean, it was competitive. That stadium was definitely packed. But I think obviously when this is for a lot of people in Saudi Arabia, this would be like a once in a lifetime opportunity to see Messi on the field, and they took very much advantage of it. But yeah, they lost 4-3 to Al Hilal. And then it was the Al Nassr game, which it was a
Oh
6-0
God.
shellacking. Messi came in the second half, which gave me the ultimate all-time clip of my lifetime, which was the guy on the in the stands like just reminding Messi what the score is. So I was just like, hey man, dude, be proud. Be proud. I don't care if it's a preseason game.
I mean, Messi's unfortunately, as a Barca fan myself, Messi has taken bigger L's. Unfortunately, but with that said, like I will say this for all the CR7 stands out there. Um, I remember a very specific competitive match where Cristiano Ronaldo, basically refused to come into the game when United were down 2-0. They were down. I don't know what score, if it was 6-0 when he decided to actually come in, but um, he didn't refuse to play, right? Someone as big as Messi, as the GOAT, the greatest of all time. No situations really, beneath him, and he still, his team needed him, and he didn't complain, got out there, did his thing. Respect, bro. I think there's a humbleness to Messi's character that can't really be found anywhere else. So even despite losing 6-0 in a preseason game, as much as everyone wants to give him flack for that, I tip the hat.
Yeah, exactly. Then they go to Hong Kong. They beat them 4-1. This one caused a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of an uproar because Messi did not play in the game. And I believe this was like Hong Kong's best 11. So I'm guessing a national team. I'm not very fully aware of the politics behind Hong Kong and China, but that's at least that's what I'm
It,
guessing. But a lot of people are very, very frustrated that Messi was not playing.
it was big. It was like a lot of drama actually. I forgot what they canceled as a result of it. They canceled some event because of it, because they took it as basically like a as a personal jab that Messi didn't, appear in the Hong Kong match, but um basically when he went to Japan, which we'll talk about next, he did make an appearance despite still nursing some kind of injury. So yeah, man, it was in that part of the world, in the Eastern Seaboard, it was pretty dramatic.
Yeah. And then they go up against Andres Iniesta's former team, Vissel Kobe. Um, obviously because it's Iniesta though. I think Iniesta now plays in somewhere in the Middle East. I don't know what's the name of the team. I remember it's a really funny name though. Uh, but but beside that, they end up losing in penalties 4-3. Um, which I was like, that's I think maybe just Inter Miami wanted to play Pens, wanted to go to Pens so that way they have some practice in there. And obviously, the last
Yeah.
game will be against Messi's boyhood club, Newell's Old Boys. That's going to be played on Thursday back here in the United States. And yeah, I mean, aside from obviously the results, which obviously it's preseason, no one cares. But the big loss is obviously Benjamin Cramachi. He's going to be out. I don't know for how long, but he did get an injury. I believe in the first game,
Yeah.
actually. So I know there were some injuries that happened. Obviously, Messi got banged up a little bit, which is not what you want. But at the end of the day, that's kind of what happens in preseason. Injuries happen. And injuries happen in general anywhere. I mean, Keon is winning, was representing his national team in pre-Olympic qualifiers, and he's going to be out for a good. He's going to be out this season because of it. But so
Yeah.
like it happens in general. I don't think injuries are going to happen, like regardless if you play a preseason game or a competitive game. It
Yeah.
doesn't change anything.
I think the big one was Farias. That injury
Oh yeah.
was massive. I think with Farias, it was like he was getting like European shouts already as a 22-year-old, and I think this was going to be a big breakout season for him with Messi before he got a chance to make that move. And now it's like I don't know if it was specifically a torn ACL, but it is a season-ending injury, and it's tough, man, because he's young. You see so much untapped potential from his side. They did make a signing very, very recently to kind of backfill that a little bit. I think his name was Redondo or something along those lines. Another
Hmm.
Argentine, which makes perfect sense considering it's Messi. And he'll probably fulfill some boyhood dream of getting to play alongside his idol. But yeah, man, injuries suck. I don't know how avoidable it was with how crazy this preseason tour was for Inter Miami, but they're gonna have to find a way to make do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I do agree about Farias' potential. It was basically, uh, basically Ezekiel Barco vibes when he went to Atlanta United, how they viewed
Yes.
Farias. So
Yeah,
hopefully, hopefully a little bit better than how Barco ended, but definitely for sure. And obviously after that 21st, they're gonna be kicking off the MLS season against Real Salt Lake. Um, I think at the end of it all, man, like it goes back to like this is preseason, it's for them to get ready for the upcoming season, build camaraderie in that locker room. This and it's something that team needs a lot of because look where they were last year. You're gonna have
yep.
hopefully a full season with Lionel Messi and Sergio Busquets, and Luis Suarez is probably gonna be wrapped up in ice like every NBA player that I could think of, because I don't know how he's gonna survive this season. um,
I thought that last year, and then he still scored. I don't know for how many for Gremio. It was like the guy had almost like 50 plus goal contributions. So it's like maybe they're just able to inject him every week and he can just keep going. But bro, at some point he's not gonna be able to walk anymore. I don't know what's gonna happen.
yeah, so I'm hoping that he'll be fine, but yeah. Anything you want to say to wrap up this Inter Miami World Tour?
Um, no, other than the fact that I'm glad the complaining will stop. I feel like MLS fans just need something to complain about, and so this was kind of it for the preseason. Like I said before, it's preseason. It was cool to see MLS get some international profiling and brand awareness as part of all of this. So no, man, I'm just pumped for the season and ready for it to start. And not just as a Dallas fan, but as an MLS fan in general. I think, you know, um Super Bowl's behind us. We can now jump into some real football. I'm excited, bro.
Yeah, definitely.